Walking through the woods, I felt old, tired, and generally beat up. It had been a long day, and I was slowly working my way back to my campsite. The light of the day was beginning to dim, and the chill of night was starting to descend. I wasn't dressed for night, and as the temperature dropped, I started to feel all the little aches and pains in my body intensify. I was hurting. I looked down at my nearly new Merrill boots and had the thought that even though they were a perfect custom fit, they just weren't feeling comfortable. And with the acknowledgement of that discomfort came a terrible realization. I was lost. I had been lost in the woods before, but I'd always been able to calm myself, apply the outdoors lessons I'd learned from my dad, and find my way. But this time the cold fear of being hopelessly and inextricably lost overrode any sense that I could possibly get unlost. I was panicking, and I was exhausted. As I sank deeper and deeper into despair, I became more and more exhausted, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I sat on the ground, and then the tears came. I lay down and sobbed. I'm not sure how long I was asleep as I slowly came to awareness. My awakening came in little steps to consciousness. I felt the soft blanket of pine needles under me and the awareness of having no pain in my body. Then the sounds of the wind in the trees and the crickets and frog noises, and the awareness that the chill in the air was gone, replaced by a pleasant warmth and coolness all at the same time. Then, at the sound of snuffling along the ground near me, I opened my eyes. It is probably best to express the next moments in the pure joy I felt, as opposed to a simple description of what I saw. All-encompassing and unbridled elation flooded through my entire being. The feelings of joy were real, tangible, solid. I couldn't remember feeling quite this way since I was a kid, and maybe not even then. And there she was, licking my face, those big brown eyes expressing nothing but love and a total acceptance of me. It was my girl. It was Indy, my white with black border collie who left the earth for heaven in 2016. I rolled onto my back and she climbed on my chest, giving me more kisses, and then she spoke. It was not what you'd expect from a voice, but rather a dawning in my mind that wherever I was, it was a place where physical voices didn't matter anymore. It was just a knowing, a universal understanding in all that exists within and without at the same time. I missed you, Dad. I missed you too, girls, so much. I held her head in my hands and scratched behind both ears. Come on, Dad, we've got to go. What? No questions, just come with me. It was way easier to stand than I thought it would be, with no stiffness, no aches and pains. I cautiously stood. Looking down, my Merrills were gone, and in their place were the well-worn but well-maintained Sears work boots that had been my hiking boots when I first began to backpack as a teenager. I chucked those years ago, hadn't I? That's when I noticed my hands. They were a young man's hands, not the ones I'd known when I'd fallen asleep. There's that joy thing again. Looking up, I saw Indy at the edge of the clearing beckoning me to follow her. Even though the night sky was now an inky black, it was filled with more stars than I'd ever seen. And they lent an almost pulsing glow to the groundscape that let me clearly see the path ahead. And Indy's black-tipped tail was keeping metronomic time as she trotted along. We wound effortlessly through the trees until I began to see a soft, warm light in the near distance. It grew brighter and brighter until we crossed into a relatively open part of the forest. There were still trees, but they were spaced further apart and opened much more to the sky above. I The trees were giving off a glow between their branches that made only one word come to mind: tenderness. I began to hear voices, the happy chatter that you heard when people were just enjoying one another's company. And then I started to see them, one by one, coming into focus. My Grandma Emma stood at a simple wood-burning stove, delicately churning tortillas with her fingers as they plumped and browned. Their aroma filled the air around me as my grandma turned to me and opened her arms for a hug. I quickly moved across the space between us, with Indy wagging her tail at my side. Again, the words came from nowhere and everywhere at once. "I'm so glad you're here, Michael. Food is almost ready." I hugged her and held on for a long time. The softness of her scent, the smoothness of her fingertips as she touched my cheek was simply amazing. In this place, it seemed that all my senses had been heightened, but truly, only the joy came through. In my head, I heard, "There are people here for you." And turning, I was greeted by my dad, my mom, and my sister. All this time, Indy had been right at my side, wagging her tail and gently nudging in the direction she wanted me to go. But now she broke from me and went to my dad. He kneeled down to greet her, and it was then I noticed how they all looked. My dad was about 40, strong and wiry, my mom in her middle 30s and beautiful, and my sister in her early 20s, looking nothing but happy. Touch and sound and all the other senses combined to completely overwhelm. To be honest, I couldn't remember feeling this good at any time in my life. From this point forward, everything was just a deliriously happy blur, with conversations, hugs, laughter, including my sister's little Wilma Flintstone giggle that I had missed so much. Great food and joy, just pure joy. It was then that I noticed the tears had been leaking from my eyes, and probably had been the whole time I'd been in this place. I didn't want to leave, ever. But then the end. The everywhere and nowhere voice came through me, and I could hear every one of the people I'd spent time with all at once. "You know you can't stay here, right? You have things to do and people who need you. Don't worry, you'll be back in the blink of an eye, and we'll all be here for you, just like now, only more." I kneeled down and felt Indy's soft fur and felt her gentle licks on my neck. I woke up sobbing, with a smile on my face. I spent most of the next day in a daze straddling this world and the one I'd experienced in my dream. The feelings faded somewhat over the next few days, but they've never gone away, and every time I let my thoughts wander, I am back in that place of pure joy, of pure inclusion, of pure sensation, of pure love. Can that be achieved here on this plane, or only in the fleeting recesses of a dream? I think it can, but I'm just not sure how. I've come to realize that the things that tether us to this existence are both weak and strong. And as the veil gently moves in the breezes of reality, our loyalties and attractions shift softly from this world to the next and back again, over and over. I think I dreamed of heaven last night.